In this video, I want to talk a little bit around understanding the default channel groups a bit better. And I'm not going to go through each one. There's around 20 different channels, at least at the time of recording. But I wanted to link off to some resource where you can go look and explore each one individually. But what I wanted to cover in this video is the relationship between the direct channel, the referral channel, and the unassigned channel. And these are channels you might have found already in your own data. And when you open up your acquisition reports, we're presented with the default channel group. And this is Google's automatic categorization of all of your inbound traffic, whether it be UTM tagged or otherwise. So I just want to talk a bit through the process of how that works and then how these things relate to each other. So the first thing is, if you're using UTMs, in the best case scenario, you apply UTMs to your inbound traffic URLs, they come to the website loads, they track all the sessions, the conversions, etc. And Google categorizes that into the respective default channel group. So if it's display, then it'll go into display. If it's paid social, it goes into paid social and that kind of thing. However, if you have been using UTMs that Google doesn't recognize, that's where the unassigned default channel group comes in. And so when we look at the default channel group, you might find unassigned, and we have it for our data as well. For example, we run a podcast and we put links to our websites in the show notes of all of our podcasts, and we tag that using the UTM medium of podcast. And now that is not a default channel group. That's not recognized by Google in any way. And I doubt it will be anytime soon, at least. And so that's always going to exist under the unassigned category. And that's absolutely fine for us to do that kind of reporting. We just have to go into the medium or the source medium and drill down into the UTM parameters, basically. And so we understand that that's always going to be unassigned. That's not going to be in its own default channel group. However, you might find that you are using different types of UTMs or your different spellings of things that Google doesn't recognize. So it's always worth checking the unassigned category, just in case there's some naming conventions that you could be sticking to and just helping Google identify and categorize your traffic a bit better. There's a resource that I'll link to in the description that could be useful. However, that's if you're using UTMs. What if you aren't using UTMs? And this is where, when a website refers traffic to another website, the referrer domain is often transferred over. And that, I say often because that's not always the case. We'll come back to that in a moment. But when a website refers traffic to another website and we get the referrer domain, all of that traffic goes through to the referral channel. Because this is where a website has referred traffic to your website and there's no UTM to tell it otherwise. So Google puts it under the referral channel. However, there's one last step that Google does for this kind of traffic, and it's got this massive lookup table. And it's over here, I'll point you to this, but there's a big downloadable PDF, oddly, but there's a big downloadable with a big lookup table of all of the referral domains, and it tries to categorize them into one of three channels: the organic social, organic search, and organic shopping. And so out of all of your referral traffic, it then tries to categorize it down further and put it into the organic search, organic social, organic shopping categories. And if you want to, the nice thing about this is you can submit your own domains here. So if you wanted to, or if you've identified a domain that you know is organic shopping and it's not on the list, you can tell Google, hey, look, this domain is organic shopping. Can you please add it to your list so that that happens automatically down the line? So that's quite nice. I'll link off to all of that so you have that resource available and you can download that big old list if you want to. So that's what happens if you don't use UTMs. It goes into the referral channel. And if there's one final step, if it's identified as shopping, search, or social, it puts it into the respective channels. Now, that's again, if a referrer domain is present. And this is where more and more, lately at least, and probably it will extend over time, the ability to get a referrer domain from referral traffic is diminishing. And some cases not even possible. Some browsers block this entirely. Some browsers are tightening it up a little bit so that this is becoming less valuable and less specific. So over time, it might not be even useful at all. There is an example. What if we went from an app to a website? We've been talking about going from website to website. What if someone was browsing the Facebook app and then they opened up your website? And then that technically opens another app, which is the browser. And then that browser app then loads your website. So going from app to app, there is no referrer domain in a sense, the same way there is on website to website. And so in which case there is no referrer domain. And then what happens? So if there's no UTM and there's no referrer domain, that's where this traffic gets categorized under direct. And direct, we like to think or explain direct, or the channel direct, as navigational, as someone typing in your URL exactly to their browser bar or clicking on a saved bookmark of your website. But that's not always the case. Direct, I suppose, is the other bucket in Google Analytics. And if you haven't defined the UTMs and there is no referrer domain captured for whatever reason, then it goes into direct. Now, there could be a bunch of sort of non-navigational, non-proper direct traffic in that category. There could be some social media activity. There could be some email activity. There could be some even paid media activity under that direct channel. It's actually impossible to know. We can't quantify it. The only way to be able to see if this is potentially an issue for you is to UTM track absolutely every link going to your website. It doesn't matter how insignificant you might think it is. For example, your email signatures. Do you have a link to your website in your email signature? And if so, are you using UTM parameters? Have you got a link somewhere to your website on a Facebook, for example, profile page? Is that tagged with UTMs? The best way to identify your traffic is to use UTMs. That is the golden source of truth. And then we can kind of use the rest of these solutions as a fallback. So hopefully that provides some insight into how Google categorizes your marketing channels. So basically, use UTMs. If it's recognized, it goes into the channel. If it's unrecognized, it goes to unassigned. If you're not using UTMs, there's a chance there might be a referrer domain, in which case Google tries to be clever with it, puts it into referral, organic search, shopping, or social. And then worst case, if there's no UTMs, no referrer domain, and it goes into direct. And now you might find that the majority of your traffic is direct, in which case there's probably non-direct traffic in there too. Apply the UTMs and monitor that over time to see if that changes. That's the only way to quantify it. Anyway, I hope that gives you some insight into how this works behind the scenes. All of the links will be in the description of this video. I hope you found it useful, and I'll catch you in the next one.